Hey everyone, welcome. So today, we're going to dive into a journey that, honestly, we all take whether we realize it or not, that internal quest for peace. We're going to explore the two powerful forces inside of us that are pretty much in a constant tug-of-war. And understanding them, that might just be the key to a calmer, more insightful life. So let's get right into it.
It's a really fascinating question when you stop and think about it, isn't it? I mean, we can build skyscrapers, compose incredible music, even fly to the moon. Both science and spirituality kind of agree that we're at the top of the food chain, evolution-wise. And yet, for all our progress, that deep, lasting happiness, it can feel so incredibly out of reach. So, what's really going on here? This whole paradox, that's exactly what we're going to try and unpack together.
Okay, so think of all life on Earth like this huge, vast forest. In that forest, we, as humans, are the tallest tree. Our incredible evolution has given us this kind of superpower, an intellect that can think in abstract terms, use language, and be profoundly self-aware. It really seems no other species can consciously decide to go on a spiritual journey. So maybe our complex brain isn't a bug at all. I mean, what if it's the very feature that gives us this incredible, unique potential to find true peace?
All right, so to really get a handle on our internal world, we need to meet the two key players who are basically running the show inside our heads. You can think of it like an inner committee with two very, very different members, the mind and the intellect. They're both constantly giving you advice, and honestly, just learning to tell their voices apart, that's the whole first step.
And here you can see that contrast just laid out so clearly. So on one side, you've got the mind, what some call our lower nature. This is the voice of impulse, raw emotion, pure habit, and knee-jerk reactions. It's the one that's usually loud, demanding. And then on the other side, you've got the intellect, our higher nature. This voice, it doesn't shout. It's discerning, it's calm, it's reasoned, it guides. And believe me, this battle, it plays out in our lives every single day. That urge for one more cookie? Yep, that's the mind. The quiet little reminder about your health goals, that's the intellect talking. The huge temptation to hit snooze versus that drive to get up and start your day. Even that harsh self-criticism after a tough meditation session versus the gentle encouragement to just try again. This is the constant negotiation happening inside all of us.
Okay, so theory is great and all, but let's see how this actually plays out in the real world. We're going to look at a real story from a meditation student, and it perfectly brings to life this whole internal struggle between the mind's fear and the intellect's search for something much deeper. All right, so this student, they described reaching this incredibly profound state during their practice. Just imagine, after a long session, all that mental chatter, all that noise, it just stops. A beautiful silence takes over. Their body feels completely grounded, as heavy as a rock. This is that deep state of peace that so many of us are looking for when we meditate.
But then, wow, it gets even deeper. The physical feelings started to fade, and they felt their sense of self, their ego, their whole personality, start to dissolve. They actually describe it as shrinking down to an infinitely small point. I mean, that sounds like a huge turning point in the journey, right? Where the whole idea of I just starts to fade away.
And this is where it all comes to a head. Because when you're faced with your ego just disappearing, the mind absolutely panics. It gets terrified. That feeling of I is the mind's entire identity. And when it felt that identity was vanishing, its survival instinct just kicked into high gear, flooding the system with fear and yanking the student right out of that beautiful state. It's such a classic roadblock on the path.
So what do you do about that? What's the solution? Well, the student's teacher gave this really practical piece of advice. When you're in that deep state and the mind starts getting scared or distracted, don't focus on your body, like your heartbeat or your pulse. Instead, gently shift your focus to a spiritual object, like an image in your mind's eye or a mantra. See, what that does is it gives the intellect a solid anchor, something to hold on to, so you can move through the fear instead of letting the mind completely take the wheel.
That story is the perfect setup for what we're talking about next. Because that tool, the thing that lets us choose the mantra over the fear, that is our higher intellect. So let's explore how we can actually cultivate this inner guide.
Okay, so it turns out, not all intellect is created equal. We can really think of it in two different ways. First, we've all got a lower intellect. This is the one that helps us survive, right? It helps us get a job, manage money, and navigate the day-to-day. Its main goal is worldly success. But then, there's also the higher intellect. Its purpose isn't about survival, it's about spiritual awakening. Its focus is inward, on our true nature, and the result it aims for isn't temporary happiness, but permanent peace.
And this is such a crucial point. Your lower intellect, it's incredibly powerful. Seriously, it can help you achieve amazing things in the world, build a career, even become a millionaire. But here's the catch. Its search for happiness is always directed outward, toward things that by their very nature don't last. And that's why, all on its own, it can never ever deliver that deep, lasting, unconditional peace we're all looking for.
Okay, so how in the world do we access this higher intellect? Well, this is where the idea of a guide or a guru comes in. Now, when we talk about a teacher here, it's not about someone who just dumps a bunch of knowledge on you that you don't already have. No, it's more like they're an agent, a catalyst, who helps you uncover the wisdom that's already lying dormant inside you. They provide the framework to awaken that higher intellect, guiding you to a truth that worldly knowledge just can't get to.
All right, we've talked through the concepts. Now it's time to actually put them into practice. We're going to end with a simple, actionable challenge that you can take with you into your life, starting right now. Think of it as your first quest, your first real mission to start strengthening that higher intellect.
Okay, you ready? Here it is. For just 1 week, I want you to try this super simple practice. Step 1, just observe. Pay attention to all the little choices you make all day long. Step 2, categorize. Ask yourself, what was driving that decision? Was it my impulsive, reactive mind or my calm, reasoned intellect? And then step 3, reflect. At the end of the day, just look back. Which choices led to more peace? Which ones led to more conflict or regret? I'm telling you, this simple little exercise can build some seriously incredible self-awareness.
And all of that, it really just leaves us with one final, powerful question for you. As you go about your week, who are you going to let take the wheel? Is it going to be your impulses, driven by that chaotic mind? Or is it going to be your insight, guided by that clear, calm intellect? The choice, as always, is yours.